honestly, the spots before were so fishy. I've never done anything like that. Like, I was just like, did not know what to look at. There was so much fish. It was insane.
Howdy, it's Harry here. Taking off from the last video, Talia and I got up to Brisbane, took a well-deserved rest in our dodgy cheap Airbnb. Now while we're in Brisbane, a bloke called Daniel Mann happened to also be in Brisbane. He's living in London at the moment, but just happened to be visiting his hometown. So we teed up to head out diving off Brisbane so he could show me a thing or two about a thing or two, aka how they dive in Queensland. Also diving out of Tim McDonald's boat. Cheers for that. From watching a lot of videos of Dan and Tim diving off Brisbane, I knew I was in for a treat and some real different diving. I'd done some depth work recently just to reacclimatise myself to the depth they typically dive here at these spots. Also quickly rigged up a second reel gun as I didn't want to be left at the boat ramp with my 30 metres of float line. Often in Sydney, we dive with float lines a bit more, particularly due to needing a float for the boat traffic. And as a naive Sydney diver, I was excitedly nervous, or nervously excited. Okay, no doubt my first time diving off Brisbane was unreal. Thanks to Dan. He just sent me a preview of his video and wow, equally unreal. Now I'm here just trying to figure out what to do with the footage that I have, because in terms of movies, his is like 300 and mine's more like Meet the Spartans. Or you know, when the original movie was unreal and the sequel just doesn't quite do it justice, or they've done a major budget cut. So what to do with this from my video? I'm thinking maybe just really show what I was thinking at the time to really get this from my perspective. So we leave at the Cracker and get out there on SS McDonald. She's like a hot plate after a good summer. Ain't the prettiest, but definitely gets the job done. We all know that. First dive, first drop, here we come. Dan wanted me to take this one, and you probably heard the best thing for diving well is relaxation. I can tell you now, I didn't feel relaxed. First drop, new spot in the middle of nowhere in Queensland, no idea what to expect. I mean, having the nerves is a bit weird, because if you speak to those who dive with me, I'm not often phased. Or maybe I just didn't want to embarrass myself in front of the man, with two ends. Who knows? Here we go. I drop down into nothing. Once I get towards the bottom, I level out and just drift in the current. Endless fish. Just trying to look through them to see if I can find something worth pointing my gun at. I could tell already though, this breath hold was not going to be my longest dive. Just as Dan expected, I see two snappers start rolling in quickly towards me. I get my gun around. These snapper really showed their flightiness. You got to be opportunistic if you're going to land one of these fish. Not me, not today.
Sorry? Yeah man, saw some blue bars, spangled, and then like towards the end of my breath I had two snapper like buzzing real close, like real quick at me, and then turn away.
Could not believe the fish life around here. It was just beautiful. I honestly didn't know what to look at. It was quite disorientating. So different to Sydney. You just have this huge amount of fish on these spots. Head's darting around. I just don't know what to look at. Bloody confused. With my good reports about the fishiness down there, Dan was keen to jump in. And he confirmed what I said.
It's fishy, mate. Yeah. How much fish is there? It's sick, eh? There's jacks,
Really?
blue bars, there's shit tons and everything.
Sick.
If you feel like you got a good breast, sit out in that sand there and you'll see about 50 big eye sea bream. Just chill it out on the sand.
Damn.
21 on the sand there.
Okay. So I took a dive down. I started to focus on trying to relax and just lay on the bottom. These surgeonfish are quite distracting when you're trying to actually look through them to find something you want. Just on the other side of the boulder there where the moo that Dan were talking about. I didn't even know they got moo this far south down in Queensland, but they just did not want to come in for a look, eh? Dan actually mentioned that at a last resort you can actually charge these moo and sometimes you can have some luck. Not today. Back to the drawing board. Meanwhile, Dan's showing me how it's done Queensland style. Kicking up the tactics, I start playing with some sand, being patient, seeing if anything will come to me. In Sydney it's simple. You see a good fish, you shoot a good fish. Here it's like you see 5 good fish, then you put them on a scale, rate them in terms of the eating quality, challenge and bragging points, and then decide which one to get. I couldn't seem to prioritise my fish. I wanted to come up with the best fish that was down there. I didn't want to come up from a pretty big dive and had taken a second best fish and, you know, unimpress the man. No one wants to do that. Okay, feeling a bit more confident in this environment, I'll take another dive. All these different species, barracuda, we'd never usually see schools of that anywhere near home. So I'm looking around trying to find a decent fish or one worth taking home. And I see something past the Sergos. I'm trying to be cautious. I know what that is. That's a good fish, and would be my first black spot cuss fish.
Stoked on that. First husky. That's man. That's sick. First 10 minutes into Crezo, what do you think, mate?
Absolutely loving it.
Nice tusky to start the day. Seen some snapper.
Yeah, seen some snapper. My first drop, saw some snapper. Looks like an aquarium. I was just so excited, didn't know what to look at. Then finally kind of sat on the bottom and got to relax, and this tusky came in, took a nice shot straight through the middle. Happy with that.
Beautiful fish, very good to eat.
Love it.
Big ups to Talia here. She's a bloody legend out there. New ground to her as well, of course, and she knew how excited I was, and she was also excited herself, being in a new part of the world. And one of the times when we rolled out of the boat, the bloody trooper, she saw her first shark and took it like a champion, just pointed it out to me, stayed cool. Using a technique that Dan told us here, we were bundling up the float line so, you know, it wasn't hanging 30 metres behind you and causing resistance as you dove. She was even spotting out fish at times and had great advice telling me exactly what they were.
So cool. Nice little what? Really? What did they look like?
Here's me not wanting to unimpress. I had this big cod staring at me. I didn't know whether it was the go to take these things or to leave them, so of course I just left it and asked Dan about it later. And again, just being a bit hesitant, not wanting to take a long shot and miss. I wanted to be sure of my shot, but in this case, that ended up with these jobbies swimming away. I was telling Dan how I was umming and ahhing a bit about what fish to take down there, and, you know, I didn't want to bring something up that wasn't great. He was like, mate, if you're allowed to shoot it, take the shot. I had this new roller here. It's probably the 4th fish I've shot on this gun, and I had it rigged up with double wrap just to throw the spear all the way that it could, but as you can see here, double wraps around reefs are not a good idea. Here it just gives the fish an extra head start, so I might go back to the drawing board on that one.
Pretty happy though, because quite a big long shot, so
Around lunchtime, we just headed into the green zones and did some free diving and chilled out, had our lunch.
Stagwood up here.
The what?
Stagwood coral.
No.
You ever see stagwood?
No.
There you go, have a look at this stuff.
Talia was all well and good diving out there, but she had one request for Dan and I, to recreate this pic she's seen. I think Dan did a pretty good job. Dan and I kick it off again with some dives on some deeper reefs. Here's Dan hitting the bottom and it's looking good. I get down there, look around and see he's got a nice coronation trout. Then I see something coming behind it to check it out. Okay, at the time I was like, that's a big shark. Now, I didn't want to come up screaming big shark because I didn't know how big is up here. So I just told him how it is.
I saw the biggest bull shark I've ever seen on the way up. Oh mate, it's big coro. Yeah, that's a good fish.
That's it. Perfect, Talia. Are you able to dive together with me, mate, to spot me getting it out with that big fuck off shark?
Yeah, too easy.
Big dog coming, eh?
Yeah, I thought it was quite at first, but...
Thankfully it kind of freed itself up a bit, and as we're pulling up the coronation trout, this bull shark just follows it up. After Dan got a look at the bull shark himself, he confirmed my thoughts.
That is a big bull shark. It is, eh?
Now back to when I saw that cod earlier, I spoke to Dan and he said, nah mate, they're beautiful eating. So he took me over to dive some wrecks, which we don't really see wrecks around Sydney, so that was pretty cool in itself, but the idea was to find a cod there. And that we did. I was pretty rooted by this point, so Dan dived down after me to get him out of the reef. You guys know I've been searching for another opportunity on a mackerel for a long time. I was hopeful that we'd see at least one today, and on this dive, finally do. Yeah, trust me, it hurts me more.
Fuck! Big mackerel just came in on me. And I got muzzle wrapped. Like I shot it and the spear didn't go all the way out.
I aimed it up pretty nicely and then shot, nothing happened. I think I got muzzle wrapped. The footage will tell. The look of disappointment there, mate. Savage. Far out. Sucks for Harry.
Now this is what you call muzzle wrap. You can hear the pain in my voice. This is my fifth shot on this new gun with, all 4 shots prior being perfect. So I was wondering what the hell happened on this shot. And I'll give you a hint. If we rewind the footage, the hint is midway down the barrel. Something's loose there, ready to get tangled because I haven't wrapped it properly. This is a learning curve on a new style of gun, one I wish I didn't have to learn at this time. And oddly, on that grim note, I'm going to end it up there because in the next video, I want to show you how muzzle wrap really can go wrong and how to make sure it doesn't happen. Because since learning my mistake and how to fix it, I haven't had a muzzle wrap since. I definitely don't want it to happen to you. beautiful fillet of black spot fish right here. The Queenslanders do it alright, apparently they're really nice, so keen to cook this up and see how it goes. Straight on the hot plate. Same similar kind of thing, gonna put it into wraps, burgers, whatever you got left where I'm heading home tomorrow. Done a lot of sensual fish tasting by me, but it's your turn to taste. Tell us how it is.
I don't know how to be sensual.
No, just tell us how you feel. How does it make you feel? Very good?
So good.
Okay.
I haven't finished cooking.
My turn. First time ever tasting black spot dust fish. Looks like a really white meat. It's really nice. Oh my god.
It's so good, hey?
Wow. I'm not making that shit up. That is good. Closest thing I've had to is like mangrove jack or coral trout. It's like really moist and sweet. And that is so good. And I'll just obliterate them with burger sauce and wraps.
Yeah, I think the best one before this was jewfish. This is freaking amazing.
Bit of something.
Let's just get
That
a
looks
big
good.
juicy piece. Holy crap,
Oh.
that's hot. Yep.
I am so game. Better than any fish burger you could ever buy at the shops for $10.95. No, just you can never buy something as good as this. Bloody cars in trailer
Go, mate. Go. I got nowhere to go.
Right here. Roadside wraps, what do we got here? I'd say fish.
Fish cracker.
Fish. Parrotfish, dust fish. Not too bad, sorted. The ocean endlessly providing. And maybe a little bit of coals.
Just like that.
Use the old brown butter knife. That's it. Got this going on. Not bad. Third day on fresh fish wraps. Not bad. Didn't get sucked into the chains. How is it?
I don't know, maybe like a 1 out of 10.
That,
Kidding.
Back in Sydney, what do you think? Terrible. No, it's okay.
Shit.
Just means we have to get away again very soon.
It does.
Oh well. Cheers for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I know 99% of you guys have probably already seen Daniel Mann's videos, but I just say it anyway in case. Dan's pulling the pants off spearfishing videos on YouTube. So yeah, if you haven't checked out his videos, go check him out. I'll put his link in the description or info card on the screen, something like that. Yeah, get around it. Alrighty, see you in the next video very soon, where I regrettably show you some footage of me losing a fish of a lifetime in hope that you'll learn a thing or two or not get muzzle wrap. Cheers.